one of the main reasons I wanted to do a Gedenkdienst, or I wanted to do something with this, is because I wanted to do my part in making sure that we never forget about the Holocaust and everything that happened during the NS regime. Yes, so I've always been interested in history and everything surrounding that period of time in general. But then through friends and family, I heard about the Gedenkdienst program, and I applied for the position here at the USHMM because I wanted to see how the Holocaust is viewed differently in a different country, especially in a country that was part of the Allies in comparison to Austria and Germany, which were the perpetrating countries. One of the most interesting or even emotional experiences was when I was invited to the Austrian embassy to be part of the ceremony to award the citizenship to new Austrians because their families were forced to leave Austria during the NS regime. It was very interesting hearing all of their stories and meeting people who were affected by this and who then were so also grateful and excited to become Austrians and to be able to have their citizenship for Austria. And in general, everything that is connected to people is always very emotional. One of my tasks was to transcribe and translate letters written from a mother to her children who left the country because of with the children's transports to the UK. And reading the letters of her mother, hoping to see her kids again, was something that was very emotional, but also very, very interesting, and I'm very grateful that I had the chance to experience it. I've definitely learned a lot in the past few months I've been here. I've learned a lot of things about the Holocaust that I've never heard about before, and also I think just working in an institution that is as big as the USHMM is very different from anything I've ever experienced before. What goes into being a research institution like this, and being offered the opportunity to work with original documents and learning about the Holocaust in a more detailed and in a more detailed way. A lot of the contemporary witnesses volunteer in the museum, so they're part of the museum's programs. One example for this is the first person talks that are hosted on the museum's YouTube channel ever since the COVID pandemic, or ever since COVID-19 started, where survivors talk about their experiences in an interview. And there's also the first person table in the museum where survivors sit and talk, and you can talk to them in the museum. So the day-to-day is very different depending on what I have to do or what project I'm working on. Mostly I try to be in the office at around 9 a.m. or something. I can work either from my office, which is in a different part or in a different building than the museum, or I can work from the museum library. And normally, most of my work is related to either translating German documents or German articles, or it's related to summarizing court documents that are in German, summarizing them in English. For example, court documents or things like that. I've also had the chance to work with the social media team who produce the content for the platforms of the museum. And since I'm from the area of Salzkammergut in Austria, I had the opportunity to write an encyclopedia article on the concentration camp Ebensee, which is revised, but as soon as it's revised, it'll be published to the museum encyclopedia. The fact that the generation that actually lived during the Holocaust is slowly passing away is definitely one of the main reasons why it's important to have museums and to have institutions that make sure that their stories and their memories are not forgotten. One of the one important, in my opinion, important aspect to this is contemporary or interviews with contemporary witnesses, making sure that we remember their stories and remember what they experienced. Yes, I think one thing is that it's going to become more difficult to actually capture the emotion of it and their stories, because it's different when a real person or a person tells it to you in their own words and face to face rather than watching a video of a person telling their story. But still, it's important to keep their memories alive through documentation and through passing that information on.